I gotta ask this as someone again who watched you from childhood. Do you get asked a lot of questions about your relationship with Kel, your co-host back in the day? Like, does and I honestly, I'm coming at this with a blank slate. So if it's a hot button topic, please we can move right on. Like, what is you guys' relationship? I'm just curious.
No, that it comes up quite often, and there's been different phases in my life when I've had to think about it in different ways. You know what I mean? Sometimes it felt like a burden, and then I would have to think about, how fortunate we were to have each other, at the same time. Like, for the record, Kel is my brother for life. You know what I mean? Like, without question, like we got our first tattoos together, and it was more symbolic than us being rebellious and like getting tattoos because we were now 18 or whatever. It was a bonding experience.
Huh.
But we had bonded before that just through laughter. You know what I mean? And then kind of being, the only two black kids on the show or two black boys on the show, same age, similar cities, Chicago and Atlanta, and like, we just felt like an automatic team, and then there were times where people didn't see us as individual athletes, you know what I mean? And we had to like figure out, okay, well, do we want to be just bonded and linked forever without any sort of chance of expressing ourselves individually or whatever? And we had those kinds of growing pains, but we're beyond that now because it's been established that I work well, you know what I mean? And, he works well. People know my first and last name. They know his first and last name, you know what I mean? And they can respect our talents individually so it only can get better when we put it together. And that's kind of always where we wanted it to be, but it had to
Mm-hmm.
journey to get there because, people enjoy the pie that's in front of them, you know what I'm saying? So they wanted to keep us, Kenan and Kel in every single thing that we did. And, if my name came second, it might be irking after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers need
Mm.
to respect me a little bit more or something. So I validate all those feelings if he ever had them. We never really had that conversation. The conversation we always had was, all right, well, if we're not gonna go do this next thing, it's fine, but no, love lost because the decision to not just do something else from scratch and force it is because we want people to know that we're both individually talented and not forget that in the
Mm-hmm.
love of seeing us performing together. And that's kind of where that whole thing started. And it led to, me going one way and him going another for a while. But, whenever we came back together, like the real like reunion on the Tonight Show or whatever, we did the Good Burger sketch for the first time or whatever in years and blah, blah, blah. It was just like old shoes, it's like no love, no time lost or whatever. And it was just like right back in a very, comfortable kind of existence because, he makes me laugh like real hard, you know what I'm saying? And I try to get a couple in, on him or whatever and make him laugh. And that's like the basis of friendship that's like real strong. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, even if we beef and if somebody says something funny, that might break the moment and then the beef might be over at any given moment. And that's a strong friendship, you know what I'm saying? Where little things can't just take it down like that. So yeah, that's my lifelong brother.
That makes me happy, to be honest with you. I wanted to call him your brother, but just bringing him up, but I had no idea what the relationship was. That makes me happy because people can make you feel like that's impossible, especially if you look like this.
That
So,
you have
like,
to be competing with each other. Like there's only one
yeah,
spot at
that
the
the door is
table.
only big enough for one of y'all to walk through, and and
And
and
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, but it also takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying? So just because you might have that, outlook on, everybody can eat, we can all do whatever, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
If your cohort doesn't see it that way, and it's something that's like underneath the surface, it's going to bubble to the top at some point, and that's just not healthy. So you just want to keep like open lines of communication. Anytime I've ever had people come around me and they try to compete with me and irk me, in my, like show experience for that week or whatever, I be wanting to just yell out like, yo, I'm not here to compete with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want
Right.
everybody to win. Like, I just want us all to be happy and have a good show. You're the host. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
yeah,
It's your show. Like,
Right.
it's not about us. You know what I mean? Like, it's about them. And to be having a moment where you're hosting SNL, you're having more than likely a major moment in your career. You know what I mean? So
oh
it
yeah.
really has nothing to do with me at all. People get weird and, personalities are personalities. And I don't know, zodiacs is real shit, you know what I'm saying? So some people, you know, approach it differently when they feel like they want. I don't know. I don't know the logic behind wanting to just seek out competition where there isn't really coming, naturally from. Like I can see if I was going at a motherfucker and like, you know, trying to do the best dance or be the loudest person in the room.
Right.
But I'm so not like that. So then when I still receive that energy, I'm like, yo, like, what is really happening out here? And then a lot of the time it's just from reputation or past work or how people perceive me when they're talking to that person. I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? So even that kind of presence might create some sort of made up threat, to a person or whatever. But yeah, I'd be wanting to shout from the mountaintops. Like, I'm not the one you need to be worried about. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm the funniest person in a sketch and the sketch gets cut because the host wasn't funny in it, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's not the job. The job is to build up the host and have a good show for the show. You know what I mean? And then the icing is for me to be able to take the credit for crafting that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's supposed to be the cast members icing in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I was responsible for a viral moment for somebody else.
That is so incredibly generous. Like, I knew I loved
Yeah.
this man, but like your respect for a job and like not wanting to leave a job. It's like, why would you leave a job? You haven't had a lot of quits, but I did catch in there. If you and Kel had an opportunity, were there more opportunities to do more stuff together, and you both were decided for whatever reasons that you wanted to grow your careers in different ways? I can spin that motherfucker into a quit. Watch me.
Yeah. And we definitely did kind of like pause it because, we went through, all right, are we going to do Kenan and Kel College Years on Nickelodeon? Okay.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon doesn't want it. Let's take it to the WB. All right.
Right.
They're semi-interested, but they want kind of maybe a different spin on the Kenan and Kel thing. And then we take one more idea that was like way off where we were like cousins or some shit. I was like, it's not really starting to feel forced basically at this point. And then also that phone call was kind of like, they ain't really feeling that shit either. You know what I mean? Like they would have been more excited if like the first idea they came up with would have been something exciting. Like down to the second and third, it's like this whole thing might be fizzling out or whatever. And you can just feel it when the calls get less and less frequent or you get put on hold, more often or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or people don't hit you back.
Because nobody just says no. What the fuck?
Yeah, nobody
says no. No, for your own sanity, you guys had I'm imagining this. Tell me if I'm wrong. You guys had that talk. You're like, this isn't. It doesn't feel like this is happening. It doesn't feel like we could want to keep pushing this ball up a hill when the hill keeps getting steeper.
Yeah, and we were young, so I don't know if we specifically verbalized it, to each other as clearly as we maybe needed to, because there was, years of like miscommunication where we had indirect kind of beef with each other based on hearsay or whatever. And, he said this over here and it was like, somebody told me, he said this over there and blah, 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 or people. And it was never like direct communication. And anytime it was direct communication, it was always love. You know what I'm saying? We're not in each other's way. And I'm definitely not trying to tear my brother down when he's trying to, achieve the same thing I'm trying to achieve, which is, a successful career as an actor, basically.